Liberty University Online has about 150,000 students. They haven't raised their prices in years, and they have 242 majors and specializations to choose from. But they have a weird political controversy-filled past. Their prices aren't quite as nice as they could be, and there are a couple of other problems we'll talk about today. And by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear idea of whether LUO is right for you. There are 7 things to consider when you're thinking about going to LUO, and the first is reputation. And little spoiler alert here, I think they actually used to have a worse reputation, and they've gotten much better. What even happened at Liberty University Online with that former president who took credit for getting Trump elected the first time, who had a really weird sex scandal, and who was kind of an ass to work for? Well, good thing you came to me to ask, because I learned and worked at LUO during that entire scandal process and had the privilege many mornings of waking up to find my workplace trending on Twitter for the stupidest things. Suffice it to say, Jerry Falwell Jr. was not a very nice person and was a terrible person to work for and seemed to have been trying to make a name for himself. But he ended up tripping over his own ego, ineptitude, and sexual preferences and bringing shame on us all. The lawsuits are still ongoing. But LUO's leadership has been doing a much better job since then. Jerry's job was split between a pastor who oversees the spiritual life of both residential and online campuses and a former Air Force chief of chaplains who was actually working at another school and got called to Liberty and seems to be doing a pretty good job of handling the academic business side. And thankfully, the school is staying out of the news for political things and seems to be focusing on what a school is supposed to do, i.e. teaching students. And frankly, I think if you go to LUO right now, I don't think you have to worry about the embarrassment, or maybe you really liked it, the notoriety. They're just busy being a solid school, and they have a lot of cool things on their residential campus that bring more prestige to their online campus. Like they're in D1 athletics, they're really pushing research, even though they're not an R1 school, which is the highest rank of research level. They've got a medical school on campus, they've got a law school, big stadiums, a big commencement. I think it's, doing a lot for the reputation of the school in general. And that's partially because there aren't a lot of online-focused schools that also have this kind of residential credibility. It also makes graduation equal parts fun and obnoxious because so many people come to commencement. And I think that I should clarify before we go any further that yes, I did earn 2 degrees at Liberty, one through Liberty Online specifically, and I taught at Liberty from I think like 2013 to over 2021. I could technically still go teach a class right now if I told them, hey, I'm ready to teach a class. But please understand that I'm being very direct and honest, and my insider knowledge of Liberty actually makes me less likely to gloss over things. Which brings us to number 2, Christian background. And that is one of the big things that Liberty is really well known for. Sometimes the culture there is a little bit more American Christian culture rather than just straight Christian culture, but I met some of the most valuable spiritual mentors in my life while I was there. You're going to have required Bible classes and theology classes, and every single class is going to have some kind of a biblical worldview focused assignment. The actual Bible and theology classes, a lot of those you can test out of or get waived based on how many transfer credits that you send in, which is something that, we help people figure out and be able to make happen. But you don't have to be a Christian to attend, so no one's expecting you to pretend when it comes to some of these assignments or classes. Really, the best thing to do is just to be honest about who you are, give a good faith attempt to the assignments, and learn the things that they're asking you to learn. And on the flip side, if you are a Christian, I think you probably will really like going to Liberty and learning from that Christian perspective and having, that faith interwoven into everything that you're learning. I think it helps to make it feel like what you're learning is more important and has more of a lasting impact in your life and the lives of others. Plus, if you're wanting to go work for a company that has a very Christian focus, some kind of nonprofit or something, I think Liberty does give your resume like a slight boost there. But how much does all of this cost? Well, like I said, they haven't raised prices in years, and they currently charge $390 per credit hour, plus a technology fee for every 16-week semester. That fee is $349, which means that if you're going for a whole 120 credits at Liberty and you're planning to do it in 4 years, it's going to cost you just under $50,000, which I think is generally average for online programs. But they also have huge discounts for first responders, for military, and even weirdly, like for small business owners. Of course, no one who watches this channel is planning on taking a full 4 years to get their degree. College hackers are all about using alternative credit from third-party sources to transfer in so you can skip or show that you already have the knowledge of a lot of the filler classes in your degree, which helps you to graduate quickly and inexpensively so you can build a career that you love. If you use college hacking methods like we talk about in this channel, I would say it's reasonable to think you could graduate in 12 to 18 months for under $15,000, depending on the major you choose. Some are going to take slightly longer, but $14,000 to $15,000 is going to be your baseline. If you're curious about how college hacking works, I'll go ahead and share a video at the end of this that explains everything. Part of the reason that this speed and price reduction is possible is because Liberty is super transfer friendly. They take credits from like every source, Sophia, study.com, third-party courses like those. They take it from exams like CLEP. They're very friendly about accepting transfer credits from other schools, even schools that other schools won't accept, they will still take oftentimes. And they have their own internal robust assessment system for giving people credits for military experience, for licenses or certifications that you have, and even just they'll like take a course and they'll say, hey, if you can complete these assignments and tell us why we should give you this credit and you can accomplish those successfully, they'll just give you credit for that. I know because I did it myself for like 14 credits. If there is an online college that offers more degree options than Liberty University Online, I don't know what it is, because they literally offer 242 majors and specializations to choose from. And then if you're thinking about sticking around for a master's, it's 480 different masters and, master's specializations you can choose. Like, that is an insane level of choice. And it's not just, baseline 50 different types of a business degree, 50 different types of a psych degree. No, like they actually have some serious variety here. Yeah, I'm pulling this up right now. We've got worship studies, which is something you're not going to find a lot of places. Special education. I think they do have a teacher licensure online, which is pretty revolutionary. Tons of religion degrees to choose from. Paralegal studies, military studies, which is a unique one for sure. Information technology, of course, information systems, informatics, a lot of informational type things. Industrial engineering technology, even like chaplaincy and commercial music. Like, it's honestly crazy what they offer. As for the course experience, they are asynchronous, which means no live lectures and no having to log into classes at specific times. But they are a standard assessment style school, which means that they have very set structures and schedules for their classes. Every class takes about 8 weeks. Every week you're going to have different readings and videos to watch and different homework to do, and you'll just kind of progress week by week. They have no proctored exams. Nearly every exam they do have is open book, and as a result, they tend to do a lot more assignments and projects, and they're very big on discussion boards. That's one thing that Liberty does a good job of that not a lot of online schools do, is they're very focused on the interpersonal social connection. And it's hard to do an online program, but they do the best they can. Like, they literally have professors tracking to see when people's last time logging into the course was. And if you don't log in very often, the professors will reach out to you and be like, hey, how's it going? Do you need any help? And then they have discussion boards where you're having conversations with classmates. The levels of homework are pretty reasonable. Probably the first 2 weeks and the last week are going to be pretty easy, and you'll have more of your difficult weeks in the middle there. If you have something coming up in your life and there's a reason you needed to ask for an extension, as long as you ask for it on time, most professors are pretty accommodating too. So even though they have that rigid structure, it doesn't mean that your life is going to be ruined if you have a scheduling conflict. And probably the nicest thing about LUO's learning experience is that the courses are very standardized. So they're always 8 weeks. You're always going to do certain kinds of assignments. There's always going to be a certain way that the courses are designed, so they're easy to navigate and easy to understand. The instructions for assignments are supposed to be written a specific way. The rubrics are supposed to be written a certain way. So once you've done like your first 2 or 3 classes, it's kind of like you'll know the model and the structure of an LUO class. And every time you log into a new class, then you'll just sort of fit the pieces in and see where they fit. And you'll be able to just get working right away instead of having to spend a lot of time wondering, what in the world is this professor thinking? Why did they design the course like this? I don't understand the instructions. There's a whole lot less of that at LUO, I believe, than at other online schools. On the flip side, standardization often does mean that if there's, some really great professors, the interaction you have with them or the value you get from them might be dulled a little bit because we're trying to bring it down to the same level for everybody. There might be online schools out there where they let professors have their lead a little bit more. In those cases, you'll probably have some really amazing classes and some really, really awful classes. And Liberty just tries to keep everything a little bit more even. But probably the best thing about LUO is their customer service. Even their call centers are pretty nice and pretty easy to work with. They're very focused on helping people. They have internal systems to help students if they feel like they're being treated unfairly. They have an Office of Disability Services that helps people get like extra time for quizzes or accommodations for disabilities, things like that. And they are one of the few schools where if I'm working with a client and I say, hey, you're going to need to reach out to the school about such and such, I have a lot of confidence that they'll be taken care of very well. All told, LUO is a great school, but not the perfect school for everyone. If you're wanting to go faster, there are faster schools. If you're wanting a less Christian experience, that's probably most of the other ones. If you want cheaper, there is cheaper, but they are reasonably priced. You can get through pretty quickly. They have a ton of majors to choose from. They're very hackable, very transfer friendly, and they're really, really easy to work with. And their course structure, the way they do it, they're one of the best at providing accountability for students to help people keep moving. So I think if you struggle with self-discipline sometimes, Liberty can be a really good place to go because they are going to help you. But at the end of the day, the decision is yours. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about how college hacking works, like I promised earlier in this video, check out this video right here, and you can see how you can take a 4-year LUO degree and squish it into about 12 months. Thanks for watching, and happy hacking.